Ladies and gentlemen, I really understand that you all had a lot of patience hearing all of us and waiting for your words. But the people who are here with me on the stage really bring with them huge amount of experience and knowledge to steer us in this golden decade. I'll keep my conversation brief and request the panelists also to be very pointed so that we try and make it very interesting. And I promise I'm not going to leave this stage before Navneet agrees to sing a song. So the ending will be the most beautiful one. So first and foremost, I'll start, Navneet, with you. And I must tell you, generally in HDFC, the brand itself is so powerful that to rise above the brand is a very, very tough task. There are a very few stalwarts. Like, of course, we all know Mr. Parekh and Mr. Puri, but Navneet in his role is matching up to the brand and trying to really add value there. So I'm extremely happy to have him with us today. Navneet, as you know, we are going from a 3.8 trillion economy to a 10 trillion economy. From the perspective of savings, we are still amongst the highest saver in the world as a nation. What does it really mean for the mutual fund stroke asset management industry? It has been growing in last decade by almost 15%. But what kind of growth do you expect that to achieve?
Thank you, Amisha. Thank you, Amisha. The mutual fund industry touched an AUM of 50 lakh crore rupees. Just to put that number in perspective, 10 years back, the industry used to manage 10 lakh crores. So 10 lakh crores has become 50 lakh crores. In 2002, that number was 1 lakh crore. So all of us, I think, in the fund management industry celebrated a number of 1 lakh crore AUM in 2002. So it's a 50x in last 20 years, 50 times in last 20 years. But that's one way to look at it. And of course, the SIP flows, which used to be around 4,000 crores 6 years back, touched 8,000 crores 3 years back, are today 17,000 crores a month. These numbers look very high, but the other way to look at it, there are still only 4.3 crore unique investors at the PAN level. So we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. If you look at the balance sheet of Indian households, it looks like this. In a $3.5, $4 trillion economy, if you look at the household balance sheet, that will be like $10 trillion. It looks like this: 50% real estate, 15% gold, 15% bank deposits. Equity would be around 4.8%. This number has doubled in last 10 years. But over a period of time, as we become a developed country by 2047, a larger and larger proportion of savings or the financial wealth has to be in equity. So we have a very, very long way to go. I think this is just the beginning of a long wave. I think Mark Twain famously said, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. I think what we are seeing in India from a capital market and mutual fund industry perspective, there are striking parallels between what happened in US in 1980 and what's happening in India today. So Ronald Reagan in 1980, government has no business to be in business. The famous words of our Prime Minister, more governance, less government. Paul Volcker in 1980 saying, I will break the back of inflationary expectations in US. India has got a monetary policy framework where we say that we will ensure that we anchor inflation around 4%. Striking parallel. The third was the baby boomers, India's demographics. You heard the chart on that. I won't speak more on that. The fourth one was very interesting, which was the 401k in US, where because of the expectation of a non-inflationary continued growth and also to secure their retirement, people started investing for a lot longer. And this is what in SIP, in some manner, is the 401k movement of India. Over the next 30, 40 years in US, we have seen a Fidelity or a Capital International moving from a 50, 70 billion dollars to managing trillions of dollars today. A BlackRock, which took birth in 1988, manages $10 trillion today, or a Blackstone in private equity and VC managing $1 trillion. In India, you will see exactly the same over the next 20, 30 years.
I fully endorse and wish you all the very best, and to all of us, because you are managing our wealth. And here I take you, Mr. Ramamurthy. As what recently I had done one podcast with him, and I said that you make us so proud that you have taken charge of an institution which itself means stock markets, BSE, and you have stirred it so well to bring growth back to this exchange. But as we move forward and we see the challenge of being the third largest economy, do you see there are certain key changes that we need to bring to facilitate more investments, more technology? What are the key ingredients that, as what Navneet says, the size of industry, which is 50x in last 20 years, and it's still going to grow multifold, what do we as exchanges need to really do?
See, today, when we look at the growth of exchanges, just in the last 3 decades, from a trading hall, it first went into the broker's office, which I am sure you are very well aware of, and then it went to the customer's office or customer's home, and then it went into the pockets of the investors. Now it is all mobile, right? So there is a good amount of technology already that has come in place. I don't want to throw a lot of numbers here. The way in which our capabilities are there today to address the number of orders or trades per day and per second is very high. So that is in a way sort of accomplished. What I feel needs to will happen and needs to be done and facilitated is this. More and more corporates are going to come in with a growing economy which will get listed. There is a good number of SMEs. One of the SMEs you awarded today, which is in both BSE's and NSE's platform, and they have moved to the main platform. There are more SMEs which need to be brought into the main fold, and that will become a good source of capital raising for them and also for export, all the stuff which we talk about. In fact, I am a big fan of mutual funds. I feel that is one of the things which we should target for 2 sets of people in the economy. One is Nari Shakti and second is Yuva Shakti. That is the most important area where the stock exchanges, by putting their hands together with mutual funds, need to work. In how do we see, our friend from NASCOM was talking about how much of trillions of billions of money is being made by women and women employees. How many of them are into the financial market is investing becomes a question. So they all should be aware of the financial awareness, investor education, and encouraging women and youth to get into mutual funds could be one important area where stock exchanges have a good role to play, is my view.
Summarized, including the youth, financial education, and of course, above all, including women as one of the key participants in the markets. Very well summarized. And here we have someone who is at the beginning of an industry which is just shaping up. He is running a company called Drone Destinations, and they are into training drones, training people for driving drones, as also they manufacture drones. I would like you to tell us, how is drone in non-defense going to change the shape of things in India in next 5 to 10 years?
Thank you, Amisha. The MC out there, she said I was called without a name. So my name is Alok Sharma. The name of the company is, of course, Drone Destination. But nevertheless, so in terms of this technology, I must say this, that it is going to have as much impact in every sphere of our lives as we can think of. So anything which is done by, let's say, satellite or an airplane or a helicopter or something happening on the road. So my take on this is that the skies are coming down and the road is going up. So we will have another kind of intermediary sitting at around 400 feet above ground. And then you can think of anything which is possible, which was possible to have been done by a satellite or an airplane. So we will have unmanned airplanes for sure very soon. We already are looking at them. Cargo would be the first one, of course, which would come. And anything which was moving on the road also goes up. So this is, then it goes to, imagination. So in terms of us and the best part about drones, it is, what I personally like is that it is going to bridge the gap of those have-nots that we have been listening about. So the financial inclusion of the rural household in the whole development of the economy, and it is going to come from a very large volume. So to give you an instance of agriculture, which I was told before I came in, you probably spoke about. So what is going to happen is, to give you a number. So I don't know whether you know that we use 5,000 liters of water to make 1 kg of rice. Okay? 5,000 liters of water to make 1 kg of rice. Now, we are still in early times of treating water as the new gold after data. So what is going to happen now is, this is what we believe is going to happen, let's say on the agriculture side, is that all these, I heard about self-help groups getting engaged and all that stuff, that the drones are going to play an integral and important part in improving the efficiency of our agriculture itself. So we will move from just like traditional agriculture to digital agriculture. So it will be a lot of data-based agriculture. For example, this 5,000 liters, so to give you a sense that when we spray pesticide in 1 acre farm, we use 150 to 200 liters of water to spray, and the drone is going to reduce it to 10 liters. So, but imagine when the water is taken out, imagine the subsidy which is going to actually generate that water from the electricity. And then the whole cycle, the cycle of Indian economy is going to change. These, what we call is we hear now 5 trillion, we have started now talking about 7 and probably 10. We believe that just digital agriculture alone has the potential to add $2 trillion to Indian economy. That's what everyone is going to work on. And on top of increasing India's share in the food bowl of the world, we have 140 crore mouths to feed, right? And as of now, we are kind of, we can say, self-sufficient in some form, though we are not, we are eating things which we should change. That's different, more nutritious food. But the way we are going to grow our food now, on top of this 140 crore mouths, we will feed many more mouths in the world. And that's where our contribution in the food bowl of the world is going to change. So what we think, so drone is just the first step towards it. Now it is, so in terms of, you asked me that outside of defense, so look at the savings, all the, when we were selling our Ratnas, for example, we had disinvestment targets earlier on, right? So I remember we used to talk about some disinvestment target. Now drone itself, so is going to move into 6.5 lakh crore of defense budget, 6 lakh crore of farmer budget, 2.5 lakh crore of urban development budget. So let's say 14-15 lakh crore, and it is going to give straight bottom line benefit, straight, by saving cost from the same place by at least 2,50,000 to 3 lakh crores from just this much. So imagine we haven't earned as much from disinvestments. What is going to happen with drones, which is little small tiny drone, which we have only seen as a cinematography drone. So I can talk forever, but the fact is, it is just beginning of a new era. You will have, and I assure you, we haven't had multinationals from India yet, but you will have a drone multinational very soon from India. So that's where I close.